Let's talk about living in a world of make-believe and why they lie the way we do. We'll talk about that tonight. Joy Pullmann is here. Sara Gonzales is here. We are just stacked on top of stacked on top of stacked tonight on I'm Right. I'm going to talk to you about something. And it's going to sound like I'm talking to you about jobs and inflation and things like that, but I'm actually not. We're talking about something bigger. Remember, let's always try to zoom out. That way we understand the why. Why are we seeing what we're seeing? Don't try to understand a specific story or scandal of the day. Zoom out. Figure it out, then you'll understand the one that comes tomorrow, right? That's the idea behind why we do what we do here on I'm Right. Why do they lie so brazenly, the communists? Why do they? Why do they call abortion reproductive rights? Or why do that? If you're Joe Biden, why get up and talk about jobs in the economy and brag?
We've created a record 15 million jobs since I came to office. There was any president has 15 million.
Why would you do that? Because he says that, and what happens inside of you? When you hear them do this, because they do it all the time, Joe Biden, his advisors will make it about jobs and the economy and inflation right now. They'll get up and say, the jobs are great, man, so many jobs. Woo, inflation going way down. And someone like you hear that and you just, raw, makes your head want to explode. How could they lie like that? Because you know what's happening right now. You're suffering. Everyone is. All the metrics are, honestly, they're not even horrifying. They're sad. Record credit card debt, savings being emptied, interest rates through the roof, people taking out second jobs, extra hours, not able to make ends meet. I got a heartbreaking email from a viewer a couple days ago. It was a man, and the subject of it was, I feel like a failure. And let me just, I'll paraphrase the email for you here. And I get many like this. Jesse, we can't make it. We're not making it. My wife has a job just so we can pay the mortgage. She missed a milestone of our new baby. The daycare workers did it. I can't work any more hours. I'm missing everything. We're not making it. And I have stacks and stacks and stacks of emails of people saying, Jesse, we're not making it. Jesse, I'm 65. I was retired. I've got to go back to work. Jesse, help. Jesse, what are we going to do? You know it's bad. I know it's bad. So why, if you're Joe Biden, why would you get up and tell people, this is going gangbusters, baby. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, let me explain why. Remember, when the communists speak, they're never, ever, 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 ever speaking to you. Ever. They're not trying to get you. They hate you. And they know, more importantly, that you hate them. They know that you are an informed person. You consume media of various kinds. I'm sure you watch this show. You probably watch other shows. You probably have podcasts, whatever you do. You're on news sites. You understand the news of the day. You're the hyper-informed, hyper-patriotic voter. You are the last person in the world these people are messaging to. So let's set you aside. I always have to remind myself of that. When they say something that makes my blood pressure vein pop out of my skull, I have to remind myself that they're not talking to me. So who are they talking to? If you're Joe Biden, why get up and say that? I mean, he knows it's a lie. I mean, my goodness, Jerome Powell got up, Federal Reserve Chairman, and as diplomatically as possible kind of admitted, these are probably going to be revised.
You have payroll jobs still coming in strong, even though there's an argument that they may be a bit overstated.
A bit overstated. That is a nice way of saying they have lied about virtually every job / CPI / inflation report for the last 3 years, and they've lied through their teeth. They always revise it down a month or two later when nobody's paying attention. We did great, 400,000 jobs this month, woohoo! Couple months later, well, it was actually about 220, but They've done it every single time. They're lying about everything. But again, that doesn't explain the why. Why do they do this? If they're not talking to you, who are they talking to? Well, this is the hard part to accept and understand. A lot of people do not want to be free. That's an idea that you have. That's a very common way of thinking on the American right. I suffer from this as well. When I look at some brain-dead drone repeating these dirty commie talking points, and I say to myself, on top of everything else, what's wrong with you? Don't you want to be free? Don't you want to break free of all that? Get rid of these government chains and media chains. Start thinking for yourself, coming up with your own ideas, questioning authority. Don't you want to be free? And the truth is that person, if they were hooked up to a lie detector test, would look me right in the eye and say, no, I don't want to be free. Many people throughout human history have no desire for freedom. They want safety and security, and they will sacrifice their freedom for the safety and security of just being taken care of. Me, I want to drive what I want to drive. I want to say what I want to say. I want to own and shoot every gun on the planet. I want to be free. I will no longer make the mistake of thinking the guy sitting next to me also does. The guy sitting next to me, your liberal Aunt Peggy, the reason she believes so many lies is her entire life, her religion, her entire worldview revolves around relying on these people to tell her where to go, what to drive, what to say, what language am I supposed to use, what am I not supposed to use. And if I just go along and follow along, then no, I'm not going to be free, but I don't want to be free. I want to be taken care of. The truth is, communists have always understood that there are large portions of every population, not just here in America. They don't have some burning desire for freedom. They have a burning desire for safety and security. So when your liberal Aunt Peggy walks into Thanksgiving running her fat mouth about how great the jobs report is, and you're looking at her just absolutely baffled because you know it's crap, and you think in your mind, she has to know that's a lie, right? She has to know that's a lie. No, you don't understand. You could hold up a piece of paper and show it to her face. These are the jobs numbers. It's a lie. It's a lie. Can't you see that? And she still would refuse to believe, because if she did, if she accepted the truth you were giving her instead of the lies the dirty commies were selling her, if she did that, it wouldn't change how she feels about one story, the jobs. It would shatter her entire life, because her entire life is banking on these people telling her the truth. It would be like you or I waking up one day and being told, finding out, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, that God himself isn't real. Well, wait a minute. I'm 42. I believe in God. Many times as I've failed him, it's everything to my existence. That's why I raise my kids the way I raise my kids. It's why I do that. If God isn't real, well, then my entire 42 years on this planet comes apart, comes crumbling down like a house of cards. If your liberal Aunt Peggy doesn't accept the latest lies she's been told from these people, then her entire life is ruined. And so these people, they not only build up a world of make-believe for themselves, they actually demand their politicians and media people continue to build that world for them. You've seen a new saying, a new phrase over and over and over again out of the left about Donald Trump sending them to camps. I'm worried if Trump gets elected, he's going to send me to a camp. What if I get sent to camps? What if I get sent to a camps? Rachel Maddow said it. AOC went out there and said, Trump's going to send me to camps.
What happens to you if Donald Trump wins? What do you do? What's your first move?
I mean, it sounds nuts, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy threw me in jail. I take him at his word. I take him at his word. I take him at his word when he says that he's going to round up people.
Of course, anyone who knows anything about Trump knows that's ridiculous. He's not some right-wing dictator, Francisco Franco type. Trump's a very moderate Republican, a fairly pragmatic type, a businessman guy, just kind of wanted to do some deals. But they understand they have to pretend like he's Hitler/Mussolini to create that world of make-believe so liberal Aunt Peggy will crawl naked across a mile of broken glass to vote against him. And liberal Aunt Peggy, she wants to live in that world. And you could show her this, what I'm about to show you. You could show her, you could say to her, Trump's not going to put anyone in a camp. He was just president for 4 years and didn't do anything remotely like that. But Democrats do want to put us in camps, and then you could show her this, and she still wouldn't believe it.
Putting it all back together again after we've gone through this MAGA nightmare and re-educating, basically, which that sounds like a rather a re-education camp. I don't think we really want to call it that. I'm sure we can find another way to phrase it.
Oh, sure, that's the problem, lady. It's the phrasing, not the fact that she thinks you and me need to go to a camp. And you could show all that to liberal Aunt Peggy, and she'll never understand, and she'll never accept it because she doesn't want to be free. In a weird way, she wants to be lied to. And Joe Biden and the dirty commies around him understand that. So when she rolls into your 4th of July party that I'm sure you already have scheduled, and she starts talking about how great the jobs market is, now you'll understand why. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. Sara Gonzales has some things that are going to make you uncomfortable, and she's going to join us to do that next. But I know that you're going to be able to handle it. And you know why I know you're going to be able to handle it? Because you got a great night's sleep last night, didn't you? I did. You can probably tell. Once again, I'm bouncing off the walls over here. That happens when you're knocking out 8, 9 hours a night, courtesy of dream powder. This stuff, man. I have never been able to take things to sleep. I've traditionally been a pretty good sleeper, but like everyone else, once a week, twice a week, I can just tell I'm not going to sleep. I got stuff on the brain. And if I take something, I'm dead the next day. I wake up so groggy. It doesn't matter how long I sleep. I'm just miserable. This is the only thing I've ever taken in my life that doesn't do that at all. Because it's all natural stuff. It's melatonin and other things. It's just a cup of hot chocolate. I warm up a little glass of milk, pour some dream powder in there, sip on it as I'm going to bed, and just gone. And it's glorious. Go to shopbeam.com/Jesse Kelly. That gets you 40% off. Not making that up. All right? We'll be back. We're going into Father's Day weekend, and this is, of course, a great weekend. Why? Because it's all about me. No, quit. It's about America's dads, and America's dads matter a lot. I realized in this feminized American society we have now, dads are just supposed to be the big dumb oaf who can't tie his shoes, but actually men have a much more important role than that to play. Joining me now, my friend Alec, host of the First Class Fatherhood podcast, which I really enjoy, and I think you would really enjoy as well. Alec, we talk a lot specifically about things like crime, crime in American cities. And too many people can't trace that back to dads or the lack thereof. And that's amazing to me because there's a direct line between those things, isn't there?
Yeah, you're right on with that. And how you doing, Jesse? And happy Father's Day to you. There is a direct line. You know what's interesting, Jesse, is we hear President Biden constantly talking about the gun problem, right? How many times have we heard him talk about that in the last 3.5 years? We got to stop the gun violence, guns this. He never makes this link, right? Here's a recent study. Individuals from fatherless homes are 279% more likely to carry guns than kids that grow up in a 2-parent household. He never makes this connection, okay? So also, too, you have fatherless kids are 3 to 20 times more likely to be incarcerated than kids that grow up in a 2-parent household. But we never hear that when we're reporting crime statistics, or especially talking about guns. You try to make this correlation, and, 50 years ago, the same percentage of homeowners owned guns as they do in America today. The difference is those same homes don't have fathers in them anymore. That has gone up 3.5, 4 times the amount of dads that are absent from these homes now. And that's the correlation. You want to stop the gun violence, you want to stop crime, you got to get dads back in the home. And so we celebrate fatherhood this weekend, Father's Day. You know what? We could use a Father's Day month. How about a month of Father's Day instead of one day, and get rid of the Pride Month? Make June about dads instead of give Pride Month one day, give the fathers the whole month, right? We could do that for a lot of other things, Veterans Day too, and Memorial Day. We could use a whole month of these things instead of Pride.
Yeah, we sure could. We sure could. Alec, it wasn't always this way when it comes to fatherlessness here in America. I was watching some documentary on actually the Bloods and the Crips, those two black gangs, LA, always doing battle. And they dropped an amazing statistic in that clip that in the 70s, we're talking still segregation really, in the 70s, the average black child had a 75% chance of being raised in a two-parent home. This is when black people were getting treated like crap, and they had fathers in the home. And today that number is something like 33%. And this isn't only black people, obviously, with fatherless homes. How did this happen? What changed? What shattered the home?
You know, what's interesting, Jesse, is Congressman Byron Donalds was just recently doing an interview with Jesse Jackson over comments he made about this exact point. Now, he talked about during the 50s and during the Jim Crow era that black families were intact, more together than they are now. So they honed in on that word. And so Al Sharpton was trying to pin him to the wall to say, you're saying that Jim Crow was better for black people. And that's not what Congressman Donalds was trying to say. He was trying to pinpoint that even when America was more racist or more segregated, and we say it was worse for black people, their families were intact. You fast forward to today, where you have every opportunity in the world as a black man or black woman, a black family in this country, and the family has fell apart. So how did we get here? This started with this entire feminist movement. It started with Lyndon B. Johnson, with all of this civil rights movement. This whole thing destroyed the family. And what they did was they got women addicted to the government. They got single moms, which is their number one client that's on the welfare system. So you have women that are co-parenting with the government, and this cycle continues, and it's a rotten cycle. People never come out of this system, and you have kids that are growing up without a dad in the home. It was so important for the Marxist ideology and for this leftist, progressive, communist ideology to get the dad out of the home, and they have gotten the dad out of the home. And unless we can get him back in the home, unless we can put faith in our families again, unless we can get that foundation back together again, there's no shot to make America great again. You cannot have a great country without a great family. It doesn't work. It all starts in the home. Without the family, the whole thing falls apart. It's the foundation of the entire nation.
How do we do that, Alec? Because it seems like such a large problem, but I mean, large problems just take more time to fix. How do we get Americans, men and women, back in love with the notion of a family, a man marrying a woman, making babies, having a good life? How do we get Americans back in love with that?
You can't begin to start that process unless you bring exposure to it. We have to start talking about this. Just like we said here, Joe Biden, he never makes the correlation when he talks about gun violence. Doesn't make the correlation that this is coming from primarily fatherless kids. So we have to talk about it for one. But Jesse, this is not something that's going to happen next week, next month, next year. This took 50 years to unravel. It's going to take a long time to put it back together. So number one, we have to be there for these kids that are growing up without fathers. We have to give them mentors. We got to do things in the public school system to give programs to have male role models in the classrooms with these kids, to have courses to take care of these kids. So we got to help them out. And then we got to prevent this problem from happening in the future. But with everybody looking so down on marriage, so down on the family, it's going to be very hard to do. So first, we got to expose it. Second, we got to help the kids that are fatherless right now. And third, we got to work on preventing it in the future by changing this narrative, changing this mindset on fatherhood and family life. You know, Harrison Bucker tried to do this, and they slaughtered the guy for it. They hammered this guy because of the comments that he made. And they had to do that because what he did directly upset that Marxist ideology. They cannot have a man out there gaining traction because that hurts them in their destruction of the family. So we have to start amplifying voices like a Harrison Bucker if we want to have a shot at trying to restore the family. So it's going to take major efforts on The university's got to be involved. Entertainment industry got to be involved. At every level that destroyed the family has got to be involved in picking up the pieces and restoring it again. So it comes from all of these things. The family court system is another one. Everyone was on Harrison Buckner. The two things that they were saying is, the man is this, or the woman just should stay in the home. And they were all mad about that. And they're saying the woman's not just the primary caretaker of the kid. The woman could be a boss woman. Well, where is the boss woman in the family court system? When you go to the family court system, they say, no. The mother is the primary caregiver. The father pays alimony. 97% of all alimony in the country is paid by men. So if we're supposed to be equal, why isn't there equal alimony being paid in the court system? In the eyes of the court, they tell you, no. The mother is the primary caregiver of the kid, and the father brings home the bacon. But yet when Harrison Buckner said it, everyone was all upset. So there's a big problem in the family court system with this stuff as well, Jesse.
Yeah, no doubt there is. That's a whole nother show. In fact, you and I are going to talk about that in more depth next time. I'm out of time. Alec, you are the best, brother. Happy Father's Day to you, my friend. All right. We have Light in the Mood coming up next. You know what your dad wants for Father's Day? He wants you to spend time with him if you can. Maybe send him a text if he's away, or even a phone call. Hey, Dad, I love you. But you know what else your father wants for Father's Day? He wants a subscription to the First TV. I know. He reached out to me and told me. He said, that's all I want. Here's what you need to do. Go to thefirsttv.com/support and be a good child. Do you want to be a good child? thefirsttv.com/support. We'll be back. I like to walk down memory lane every now and then, and it always makes me laugh when I look at the ridiculous cringe of politicians, mainly Democrats. They're the worst. It's not the Republicans can't be bad, but you remember when back when Elizabeth Warren, she wanted to be president, and so she was trying to do the normal thing. She was normalizing, as they say in politics, and so she does this video and she drops I'm gonna get me a beer.
There we go. I'm glad for everybody who's joining this video. It's great to hear from you. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get me a beer. Hey, Glover, my husband Bruce is now in here. You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
You sure? Come over and say hello to folks.
Yes.
So, this is my sweetie.
Hello.
He's the best. And I'm crazy. I love you too. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
I'm glad you're here.
Enjoy your beer.
Thank you for being here. It's his house. It's okay, so maybe you thought that she's surely never going to do another one of those, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. She teamed up with that dirty commie Jennifer Granholm, and, well, here it is.
Cheers to a bright, clean energy future for Massachusetts.
Cheers to lowering energy costs.
Cheers to great new clean energy jobs for Massachusetts workers.
Cheers to investing in America.
And to beer.
Sorry, I can't. Just in case you thought I was always mean to Elizabeth Warren, though, let's do remember I was the one who encouraged her to run for president. Love you.
Love your t-shirt.
Run for president, please.
Right now, we gotta be in this fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take
Appreciate
care.
you. He's going down tonight. Do you know what the front of my t-shirt said? You heard her tell me she loves my t-shirt? The front of my t-shirt said, "Keep your hands off my uterus." It was a gag, right? I love your shirt. Gosh, I'll see you tomorrow.